James Freeman, thanks for joining us on New Mexico in Focus.
Thank you, Megan, so much for having me.
James, you came to Albuquerque in 2016 on the bus, didn't have a lot of resources. Can you talk about how you ended up living on the street and what that was like?
Absolutely. So it's important to understand that I didn't have family support here. I didn't know anybody here. I ended up here after a bad marriage breakup, and it's very difficult. It's very difficult to get by. And so I had some money, but I was precariously housed, and I was living in a hotel, and I quickly found myself on the streets and accessing resources like the West Side Shelter and other facilities.
Where did you sleep? I mean, what were your biggest concerns about safety and getting just basic needs met?
So I am a big guy, so I didn't feel so much, physically threatened as much as hypervigilant. I felt like I could never close my eyes more than an hour or two. I felt like I was always under threat of being robbed, people taking advantage of me. And so that was a serious concern. I did stay at right outside one of the local senior centers over on Coors and Bridge. That was kind of my main place back then the West Side was seasonal. And so it was only open from November 15th to March 15th. So outside of that, I was staying at a generational center. I did have a partner that I camped with. We took turns watching out for each other, like it's my turn to watch, you stay up and protect me. And then we took turns like that.
So that must be so hard. I mean, you never really get to sleep.
It was very
It
was very taxing on my mental health as far as being that hypervigilant all the time. You're constantly, in fear. You're constantly on guard. Absolutely.
What about things like just getting a shower, using a bathroom?
Right. These are things that we take for granted being housed. My go-to was healthcare for the homeless. I think that is one of the best private showers in Albuquerque. I would go there routinely. Also, the Rock at Noonday has very nice shower facilities. Those are kind of my go-to, but you would plan your entire day around, how am I going to use the restroom? How am I going to use this facility? How am I going to take a shower? And so that took up a considerable part of my day.
It sounds like even if someone didn't have trauma in their past, if they live on the street long enough, they get exposed to a lot of trauma.
Absolutely. We often say, if you didn't have PTSD symptoms before being homeless, you definitely display them after, while being homeless and after, because again, the hypervigilance, I witnessed people being assaulted, sexually assaulted, just some of the worst depravity you can imagine. It didn't really happen to me, but at times just witnessing that can be very emotionally charging and powerful.
I can imagine. What kind of effects did that have on you and other people you met living on the street, going through this day after day for months?
So I would say a lot of it is your trust is eroded. Your trust in humanity, your ability to ask for help, your ability to be vulnerable is definitely affected. And so it took me years to get past that and be able to trust people again, and to relate to people and feel trust and vulnerability again.
That probably hampers people's ability to access resources. Absolutely. When they're offered.
Absolutely, I would say that's a huge barrier. And so this idea that you tell a person one time, hey, if you go over to this agency, you can get help. And they're like, well, I don't trust people. I don't feel like that's for me. I don't feel like they would give me help. It takes many, many times. So we have to constantly reinforce that, the access to resources, because so many people have had their trust broken. Absolutely.
You mentioned you spent about 4 months at the West Side Emergency Shelter. This is when, as you said, it was seasonal. It wasn't 24/7. What was that like?
It was a 30-minute bus ride to and from every single day, where you're crammed on like a school bus. It is an actual school bus. And so just the logistics of getting on the bus, you're sitting out, at this time we're at Coronado Park, We're sitting out at Coronado Park in the elements, being rained on, in the cold, in the winter, and then we have to spend hours getting on the bus, and then we're herded onto the bus in not a very kind fashion, and then we spend 30 minutes in traffic getting out to the west side, and it is an old jail. You know, there's no way to change the fact that it's an old jail, and so it has. So again, I really consider it a shelter of last resort. I stayed at the AOC, the Heading Homes Albuquerque Opportunity Center, and that was a much better shelter. There's so much more going on. You're able to use a computer.
It's over on Candelaria, much more central. Yeah.
Correct. You're able to do so much more at the AOC. You know, it's just more of a kind, loving place. So I'm just kind of comparing those two. And so back to the west side. You know, if you have nowhere else to go, if you're facing terrible conditions, if it's cold, if you don't have any resources, I think it's a great place. But again, I would rather move people to the Gateway. I would rather move everyone to the Gateway.
The Gateway Center.
Yeah, I think we spent a lot of money. It's a 570,000 square foot building. I think that would be a much better facility to store people, because there's no plan to end homelessness anytime soon. So I think creating a better environment like the Gateway would be superior.
Are you familiar with the work that Damon Eli has been doing and his recommendations to the city around homelessness? Do you have some thoughts on those?
Absolutely. I read Mr. Eli's report from last year, and then I've read his current report that was just released over the weekend. And I actually agree with a substantial amount of it. I would say 80%. I see where he's coming from, and I actually agree with it. Probably the biggest area of disagreement is over this idea of tracking the homeless, tracking outcomes. I think the idea that clients are going to be forced to consent to giving up privacy and confidentiality is a mistake. And I think, you know, he puts in there that, oh yeah, getting around HIPAA is not a hard thing to do. And I think HIPAA exists for a reason.
This is the Federal Health Care Act that's supposed to ensure confidentiality.
Exactly. And I see what he's trying to do with well, we want to make sure we're using our money, our resources in the best way possible, in programs that work, in programs, you know, that are successful. I certainly understand that part, but I think we need to keep it anonymous. I think the idea that somebody's, you know, biographical information is going to be stored in a database, and just because they receive, you know, EBT or food stamps or a housing voucher, that they should be tracked. I don't agree with that. I participated in the pit count with the New Mexico Coalition.
Oh, the point in time count?
Yes.
That they do every year?
Right. And so I was a team lead on that in February. And we're just collecting basic data like the first two letters of your first name, middle name, last name, month and year of birth, where you're from. And some of that was a barrier, you know, from my experience. And so the idea that we're going to get even more data, or we're going to expect more data to collect, to give out resources, I think is a huge problem.
Does this go back to some of our earlier conversation around trauma and trust?
Absolutely.
Okay. You now have a college degree. You are in graduate school, and you're housed, and you're working at HopeWorks. What helped you make the transition to having housing and having more security?
I think for me, it was just so important. I decided being homeless, being unsheltered was so bad, was so painful. And I didn't suffer from substance use disorder. I didn't suffer from severe mental illness. And it was just so painful, just the being outside, feeling like I'd lost everything, feeling like I wasn't contributing to society. And so I've never told it. I made a deal with God, and I told God, I said, if you help me get through this, I will do everything I can to give back and help others. And I hope I've kept up with that. And so that's the way I live every day. Is this situation is so dire. Being outside, being unsheltered is so bad that we need to do everything we can to help these people. And I try to live that every day.
You were going to HopeWorks every day. You know, you could get food, you could, you know, charge your phone, whatever. What was the trigger that made you like take that next step into the other services they offer to get you housing?
That's such a great question, Megan. I actually sit in the shelter and stared at the wall for 6 months, and I was just, what do I need to do to take that next step? And they would play these announcements every day at about 8 a.m. Go upstairs and talk to so and so to do an assessment to get help. And for 6 months I thought, well, that's not for me. That's not going to help me. And finally one day a light bulb just went off over my head, and I was like, I'm going to go upstairs and do that. And after I went upstairs, you know, I did the assessment, and then about 6 weeks later I was assigned a caseworker. I was assigned a therapist. I was assigned a nurse practitioner, and everything just kind of clicked along. And about 6 to 9 months later, I received a housing voucher, and that was the pivotal moment in my life, you know, that changed everything, was receiving that city housing voucher administered by HopeWorks.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of debate, as you know, right now here and around the country about how to address the rising numbers of unsheltered people. It's not clear how often policymakers listen to people with lived experience like you. What are they missing by not hearing from those folks like you, from those voices?
I do think it's a huge problem that lived experience people do not have a bigger voice. And I constantly try to speak up, and HopeWorks has a client advisory board that I'm on.
So the providers are hearing from folks. Yeah.
And I think it's a constant. I think it's getting better. So I think that we're speaking up. Our voice is getting louder. But absolutely, I think not having that perspective. Mr. Eli did not, you know, consult with me. Did not, to my knowledge, did not consult with anybody with lived experience. And I think that's a huge problem. I think the city of Albuquerque should look into forming a lived experience committee. I did have a conversation. I had a kind relationship with FCS director, Triple H director, Carol Pierce, and we talked about forming a lived experience committee. She retired in December, of course.
Yeah, she worked in the city housing
She was the director, and so I would like to continue that conversation. I think I have a kind relationship with some of the city councilors. I've hosted some of them at HopeWorks, and I would like to continue to build on that. It's just very difficult. It's very difficult to build the level of respect, you know, necessary because of the stigma. I think a lot of it has to do with the stigma that everybody on the street is severely mentally disabled or severely addicted to substances, and I try to quash that as often as I can, because that's just not true.